Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Hi there. Welcome to Verbling, www.verbling.com. Hi, I'm teacher Oakley, and uh, today, again, at this particular time, we're going to continue our mini-series. Actually, we're going to conclude our mini-series today, looking at often confusing, rather, vocabulary. Uh, we're talking about words that are sometimes homonyms. They sound exactly the same, different spelling, different meaning, or possibly extremely similar sounding words that are often confused and mixed up. The meanings are mixed up. Now, many of these words that we look at, first of all, they are often more advanced vocabulary, but as well, I would like to say that even native English speakers often confuse these words, frankly. Really, yeah, as I prepare for the class, sometimes I have to really think about, and sometimes I even have to look up the definition because I get them confused. Very easy to mix up. Okay, we're going to be looking at these in a specific format. We'll be looking at quotes, mostly famous quotes, or not so famous quotes, and filling in the blank with one of two or possibly three different words that get confused with each other. So we'll also, of course, be looking at the pronunciation of what may be new words for you, the second language speaker, as well as defining both words to try to make it more clear what the meanings are and how they're used. This class is really, even though the vocabulary is fairly advanced, really it's vocabulary. So anyone at all who wants to improve their English vocabulary from beginner to advanced to even native speakers, frankly, could benefit from joining me here and looking at some of these words. We all can benefit from building our vocabulary, certainly, of course. Even myself, which is why this is an interesting lesson for me to teach, because I am building my own vocabulary. So why don't you join me and we'll get started here, looking at often confused words. Okay, as an example, while I'm waiting for students to show up, an example, let's see, an example maybe something like, maybe they may be very simple things like bear. Bear, there's homonyms, B-A-R-E, and bear, B-E-A-R. So sometimes they just simply sound the same, but the meanings are completely different. Sometimes they're the more confusing ones, I think, are words that sound a lot of like, maybe even have the same root or base in English, but have different meanings. Well, since no one has joined me yet, I'm going to show you an example of what we're doing. Okay. For example, let me do a screen share. Okay. For example, abstruse or obtuse. They sound kind of similar. They obviously both have similar endings to the words, suffixes. Okay. What I'd like you to do is simply read read the quote and fill in the blank with one word or the other. Look at that. You have a 50% chance of being correct. So, for example, I mean, here's this guy, this alien, this guy from Austria, nobody ever heard of, sitting by himself in the British Museum in the 1880s, writing like really abstruse book on economics called Das Kapital. And that book, that idea, is what creates the history of the entire 20th century. Okay. Quote from Tom Wolfe in I Am Charlotte Simmons. Okay, here we would choose abstruse, because abstruse means really difficult to understand, challenging intellectually. Okay, so often used to describe written material, perhaps lectures. Okay. Information. On the other hand, obtuse is an adjective. These are both adjectives, but abstruse refers to information, written material, etc. Obtuse, on the other hand, refers to a person. If a person is obtuse, they're being it's very difficult to explain something to them. They're not understanding something maybe that is quite simple, or often we use the collocation deliberately obtuse. So someone who is almost trying not to understand information is being obtuse, even though the information may be completely obvious and very simple. They refuse to believe or to understand this information. They're being obtuse. So it's very common to use this with the collocation deliberately obtuse, meaning you're willfully ignorant is a sort of very close, which sadly, I think many people are willfully ignorant. They choose to not understand things. In that case, they're being obtuse. Obtuse also has another meaning which has to do with geometry. It is an angle greater than 90 degrees. So another very specific meaning. Okay, anyway, we could also talk about the quote, but I have nobody to talk to. So why don't you join me? We can look at these words, learn the words. You can ask me questions. We'll learn pronunciation. Maybe we'll even talk about other subjects that come up with the quotes. Who wrote Das Kapital? Who knows? I know, but there's no one to talk to about it. So come on and join me. Here's another example. Accidental or incidental. Very similar sounding words. Obviously, really the prefix of the word is the only difference. Okay. All right. The only story she'd heard that was more tragic was the blank death of a 3-year-old who'd sneaked out and crawled behind his mother's Camaro to surprise her when she left for the grocery store. The answer here would, of course, be accidental. An accident, an accidental death. Of course, it was not on purpose. It was not planned. It's an accident. So the adjective form accidental. On the other hand, incidental refers to something which is a small, very small result of something. Okay, there were some incidental problems with the new product launch. Very small problems, easily taken care of. not important. So obviously, the death of a 3-year-old would not be described as incidental. It's just a major thing. Hello, Max. Hi.
Hello.
Thanks for joining me. I was getting a little lonely here, talking to myself. I start to feel slightly insane sitting here by myself in a class. Okay. All right.
Difficult for me. Yeah. I really don't know this word.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's okay. You can learn them. Sometimes you can figure them out. I mean, accident. I'm sure you know the word accident.
Yeah.
Okay. Some are harder than others. All right. Let's take another group of words. Actually, with 3 words here. This is one I use frequently, actually, to illustrate pronunciation. These 3 words are homonyms. They all sound identical.
I'll.
Precisely.
I think I know this word. The first word is like some kind of street. No?
Well, very close.
No?
Very close. But not quite. The first one, aisle, not really a street. For example, an aisle in a church, usually there's 2 sets of seats in a church, in a classic church, and the row between them, where, for example, a bride and a groom walk down the aisle. In fact, that's a colloquialism for getting married. Oh, they're going to take a walk down the aisle, meaning they're going to get married.
And aisle in the store?
Or aisle in the store. Yes. Clean up on aisle 7. Clean up in aisle 7. Somebody has dropped a jar of peanut butter. We need clean up in aisle 7. Yes, exactly.
And third? What is it third?
Well, basically another word for island.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So anyway, how we're doing this? Go ahead and read the quote. And
Lider had in his apartment an airline ticket to Athens, Greece, and additional travel documents from that city to the idyllic. I think third.
Yeah, okay.
Isle. Idyllic Isle, third of Hydra.
Yeah.
Maybe not. No. First.
No, you had it right. You had it right the first time. Okay. First of all.
That reminds me, we have ticket close window and ticket close aisle. Aisle ticket, window ticket. No, window side, aisle side.
Oh yeah. Okay. Right. When you buy when you buy an airline ticket, you buy a ticket on the aisle or on a window seat or at a window seat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. On the aisle or at the window. Okay, a window seat or an aisle seat. That's true, because there's an aisle between the seats. Okay, a little bit of pronunciation here. Luther is this name pronunciation.
Luther.
Right.
Luther.
Okay, and also the idyllic Isle of Hydra, island of Hydra. Okay, like we might say Hydra Island, but we always say Isle of, and then the name. Idyllic means, well, like heaven. Idealistic, idealism, perfect. Idyllic, it's this adjective, the IC suffix. It's idyllic, peaceful and wonderful and beautiful. Okay, there you go. Isle. Hello, Luo, welcome.
Hello, Oakley. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you as well. Okay, thanks for joining. Um, okay, we're looking at more confusing vocabulary. So your task is to read the quote and substitute in which answer you think is correct. So give it a try.
Alternate or alternative.
Hmm?
Family parties had turned for him into grueling and monotonous tests of fealty to which he submitted with sorrow and anxiety whenever he was left with no civilized um, civilized uh, family
Hmm.
parties. I didn't get it because there's too many hard vocabularies like
Okay.
grueling,
Uh,
monotonous, and filthy. I know them. Yeah.
okay, let's translate here. Let's translate this into simpler English. Family parties, family gatherings, family celebrations had turned for him. Okay, had for him turned. There's different ways to say this. They had become grueling. Grueling means very hard work, extremely hard work. A triathlon is a grueling race. It's very difficult. It takes a lot of effort, and it's maybe even painful.
Hmm.
Uh, okay, into grueling and monotonous. Monotonous simply means boring. Um, very difficult and boring tests of fealty. Fealty is loyalty, direct synonym, uh, to which he submitted with sorrow and anxiety. Okay, he was sad and anxious at family parties whenever he was left with no civilized alternative. Now, actually, uh, there's another way to figure this one out. Alternate is the adjective form of alternative, which is the noun.
Yeah. Yeah. I had noticed it, but I was trying to put alternative into the blank, but I think I should first figure out what this mean.
Okay. To, to, to make it even more simple to understand, family parties were long and boring, and it left him depressed and anxious. That's it.
Mhm.
When he had
Um.
no alternative, there's no way to get out of it. There's no way to
Well.
avoid it.
Well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last day, I in this class, I said those famous quotes with those hard vocabularies even made them more difficult to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So the
Well,
famous
it's a
quote,
challenge.
celebrities tend to use more hard words to make them like a quote, right?
Well, they tend to because they're better educated, frankly.
Yeah. Yes. I
To
know.
be honest, I mean, I read a lot and I'm pretty well educated. I have no problem with this. I understand what this means without a second thought, but I'm a native English speaker, of course,
Hmm.
and I'm college educated, and so it's. I understand. It's totally different for you. You're a second language speaker, and you're unfamiliar with these words. But these words are, no more difficult for me than good, bad, nice, ugly. They're really, it's not that challenging for me.
Hmm.
For me, I'm not any no reflection on you, and I understand, but I'm
Yeah.
so I don't think they're trying to be over. I'm answering this as to your question. I don't think they're trying to do anything. I think they're just trying to be interesting writers so people will buy their books and they can make money.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think they're just eh, yeah, to be honest with you, I've had people comment to me that why do you use all, I don't even understand what you're talking about sometimes. You use all these big words. Well, I'm sorry, I'm educated.
Yes.
It's not my fault. I'm not doing it on purpose, or I'm not trying to impress anyone. I just try to use a better word which actually fits more, or I try to be more interesting and use symbol or metaphor when I speak, which is also why they're using some of these big words. But anyway,
Yeah.
okay. And I definitely do it when I write. I definitely use much more advanced vocabulary because writing is much more formal than speaking. So that's another thing, quite honestly. Okay, let's look at another one here. Max, bail, or bail? Bail or bail? Or bail or bail?
Okay. I think first it's verb and second it's noun.
Okay.
Yeah, they stood in the dark doorway, checking their pistols and watched the truckman wheel the.
Yeah. Okay, well, you said it yourself. If the first one's
Bale, second,
yeah,
bale
it
of
has to be.
cotton into the brightly lighted office and drop it in the center of the floor.
Okay. Well, you said it yourself because we have an article and then a blank. There's no choice. It must be a noun. We only use an article in front of a noun. And then we have a preposition after. So there's just no other possibility but to use the noun.
I know what is it, bale, second. Pronunciation the same? Bale?
Yep. Pronunciation is
yeah.
exactly the same. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what is cotton.
Cotton?
Yeah, cotton.
Your shirt may be made out of cotton. It's a plant, or it's the plant fiber, the actual material. It is a plant. It also refers to the material, and it's used to make clothing. A lot of clothing is made with cotton.
Okay.
So, okay, yeah, a bale is usually square or rectangular, wrapped with a string to hold it together. So, and it's usually big and heavy. It's quite large. So you can have a bale of hay, a bale of cotton, usually plant material. Yeah. I thought I did, actually, Luau. I thought I had treated this as advanced. Perhaps I made a mistake. If I didn't, it was an accident. I fully intended to, and I thought I had. But in any case, yeah, so a bale is a noun, the second one. The first one, however, I must say, the first one can be also a noun. Do you know what it means as a verb, to bail?
I look it up.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Some kind of to pay for person who in the jail.
Yes.
That this guy get out of jail.
Right. Yeah. In Western forms of legal in Western legal matters, you're arraigned, you plead guilty or not guilty, then the judge can decide if you will be allowed outside of the jail until your trial. And in order to be allowed, you're going to have to pay bail. If you never come back, then the money that you pay, the court keeps the money, so you lose the money. So there's punishment for not coming back.
And actually, in the dictionary, bail, like verb, means to jump out of this parachute. To bail out.
You bail out of a plane. That is true. You jump out. And there's actually another third meaning. For example, if you're not ship, you wouldn't bother with a ship. But if your small boat was sinking, You might use a bucket to bail out the water. You throw the water overboard.
Okay.
Um,
Bail out.
Yep. Bail. Okay.
Thank you.
And also it's often used in English slang, conversational informal slang. This party sucks. Let's bail. And like jumping out of a plane. Let's leave. Let's suddenly just leave. Oh, I don't want to be here. I'm gonna bail. Okay, I'm gonna leave. Okay. Hello, Ken. Welcome to the class.
Yes, hello. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. Nice to have you here. And hello, Nader. Welcome as well. Hi, Nader. Are you... Oh, okay. Texting today. Got it. Okay. Let's go to our next one. Nader, can you do this one? Tough one. Bathos or pathos? All right. I will attempt to read this. This vocal organ was in itself a rich endowment, insomuch that a listener, comprehending nothing of the language in which the preacher spoke, might still have been swayed to and fro by the mere tone and cadence. Like all other music, it breathed passion and bleep. Oh, I knew they were going to bleep right there. And emotions high or tender in a tongue native to the human heart, wherever educated. Ooh, Nathaniel Hawthorne, The Scarlet Letter, a very famous book in American literature. And it is pathos. I knew it was going to be pathos. Passion and pathos is a common collocation. You are right. Pathos means great, is very close to passion, actually. Pathos, great emotion. Okay, breathe passion and great emotion. Pathos, okay, and emotions, high or tender. Oh, they're all really similar. Passions, pathos, emotions, high emotions. They're all very similar in meaning. Meanwhile, what on earth is bathos? Does anybody have the faintest idea what bathos means? Okay. Bathos, this is a very interesting word. Nobody has any idea? Okay, not you, not anybody. Bathos, all right. It's a noun. It is used to refer usually to something written, literature. It is basically an anticlimax. Bathos is sort of the opposite of pathos. It creates a great swell of emotion and great excitement or great feeling in person. Bathos is the sort of the opposite, where you're totally let down, an anticlimax. So it seems like it's going to be very exciting and passionate, but then it ends up ridiculous or just stupid. So, okay. The bathos in his essay was too much to deal with. Okay, it seemed like it would be very exciting and interesting, but it ended up being goofy. Looks like from Latin, yeah, or actually I think Greek. Not 100% sure. I think it's Greek because of pathogen, pathos. There's a lot of root words with that, and I believe that's Greek. Okay. Oops. Ken ran away. Okay. Lua. Oh. Bread or bread? Or breed. Oh, sorry. Bread or breed?
Ken bailed. Ken as a Ken bailed.
Ken bailed. That's exactly what you said. Yeah, Ken bailed. He did.
Breed, bread, or breed. Bread. Second bread, I don't know. Second bread.
All right.
What is second bread?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we use it in we use it in strange words, but it is actually past tense of breed.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Mhm. We're not the kind of people who hate, she added, as if this were an imperfection that had been bred out of them generations ago.
Yeah, and the answer is the middle, bred.
Mhm.
Past tense of breed. Okay. All right. The idea here is this were an imperfection that had been bred out of them, the same way you breed, you make babies, you breed horses. All right. You try to breed a racehorse, so you very carefully study the genetic lines and you breed an appropriate pair together to get the perfect racehorse, for example. So the idea being that they had bred out an imperfection in their family. Okay. Of course, bread is bread. We eat bread. That one's fairly simple. Okay. All right.
I have question.
Yes.
Yeah, why apostrophe after comma after hate?
What's that?
Apostrophe after who hate, comma apostrophe.
Okay. So what is your question? This is the quote. And then that ends.
Oh, okay, I got it. Sorry.
Because the whole thing's a quote. Notice how there's 3 of them here. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I
Two
see. No.
of them are here at the end because the whole thing's a quote. It's a quote within a quote. So that's how we deal with that as far as punctuation. Okay. Actually,
Okay.
that's a good thing to know. I'm glad you asked that. I would totally forget to point that out. That's how you deal with a quote within a quote, by the way. Two of the quotation marks means it's a quote, but when you put one inside, you put the inside quote with 1 mark. Okay. Max, since you're here, bridal or bridal?
I don't know this word. There's words. Bridal. He loitered with 2 dogs, smoking a cigar, and just as he turned to go home, he heard a horse's hoofs coming down the...
Bridal.
Just guess. Bridal.
Yeah, they're homonyms. You can't go wrong. They sound perfectly the same. So bridal or bridal. You can't guess the first one. We were actually kind of talking about it earlier. It comes from another word. It's just an adjective form of another noun. Bride. So, okay, the bunch of flowers that a bride, all right, getting married, a woman getting married is the bride. So her flowers are called the bridal bouquet. Fine. Okay. That's it. The room she stays in is a bridal suite. Okay. Question?
Yes, I have a question. Come into my mind. I just wondering what's the grade of the native speaker graduated, I mean, from what school they can understand those kind of ancient essays, maybe, or a famous quote.
Okay, that's funny.
15
All right.
years old man only.
No. I had to read this in university. I had to read this in high school. I'm a college graduate. I've never read this book particularly. I read this book on my own. I read this book in college. Never read this book. I've read Thomas Wolfe, but not this book specifically. I had to read Thomas Wolfe in university. So roughly half of them were required reading, to be honest. It's a couple, one or two of them I've never read. One or two of them I read of my own, of my own choice. But I don't know. We have to read an awful lot of Shakespeare in high school and university, which is all Old English, by the way, and it's required. So
you mean if you are a middle school student, probably you cannot understand what they mean.
It depends on what it is, of course. Yeah, I don't really remember being a middle school student. That was a long time ago.
Okay.
But okay. Yeah, I don't know. Difficult to say. Middle school is sort of a transition between much more simple and starting to get into the more sophisticated stuff. So I don't know. Hard to say. Probably, yeah. You would have difficulty. An average person, sure.
In this case, right answer would be first bridal path. The bridal path.
Well, this is a confusing one, but it unless he was walking down a church, a bridal, I probably not. I believe it. See, it could actually be either. There's a possibility with other contexts. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just too wild an idea. I don't think it would be the first one. I don't think it has anything to do with getting married here. Because a bridle is the harness. Another word for bridle is the harness, the leather straps and buckles that you put on a horse's head.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and including the strap that you lead a horse with. So you grab this bridle and you lead the horse. So this is the horse is walking down the bridle path. What they're referring to is the path that goes into the barn or goes into the yard or goes into the barn. So this is the path where you get off your horse. All right, no one rides a horse into a barn. You'd hit your head and be knocked unconscious. You want to walk the horse into the barn, for example. So you would either grab the harness, grab the bridle next to his ears, or you might pull him by a rope. But either way, you'd be walking the horse down this path, and it's called the bridle path because you would never ride the horse. It would be customary to walk him home in the last part.
It's correct to say I walk with horse, handle his bridle.
Well, you would probably say I led the horse.
Led the horse.
Because supposedly you're in charge, so you're going to be leading the horse by his bridle.
His bridle, okay.
The horse is subservient to you, so you don't walk with the horse. I walk my dog. I don't walk with my dog. I would normally say I walk my dog every day because I'm the boss. All right, I walk my dog by the leash. All right, dogs have a leash and a horse has a bridle. That's the idea.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay. Next one, brooch or brooch? Nader, brooch or brooch? All right, here we go. As I finished a pop quiz and waited for the final bell to ring, I played with the star brooch pinned to my sweater and wondered how bad this cold was going to get. Okay, brooch or brooch? No idea. Does anybody have any idea? One or two? Actually,
I have checked my dictionary for first one. It means to start to discuss something.
To open a discussion. You broach a topic, for example. That's right. Whereas the second one is a pin that women use on their outer garments, a coat or a sweater or a cloak. You would pin a cloak around yourself with a brooch, a fastener. Ornate. All right. It's considered jewelry. All right. So there you go. The star brooch pinned to my sweater. Okay. All right. So quite different meanings. To broach a subject is a verb, and a brooch is a noun. No other meanings. That's it. Hello, Ken. You're back.
Yeah, yes, sorry. Sorry. I got a call. So.
Okay. No problem. All right. Ooh, a tough one for you, Ken.
Okay, Calvary.
Uh,
Calvary.
Whoops.
Caterpillar. Okay. Oh, block.
Oops, sorry about that. I lost it there. Sorry about that. Let me. Whoops. Put that back up for you. My mistake. Okay. Now this one is easily. Yeah.
Cavalry or cavalry. Above all, the army demanded horses by the thousands as mount for its flank, and along with mules, draft animals for its vast fleet of wagons and ambulances. Which word should I choose?
Yes. Which word should you choose? That is the question. All right.
Calvary.
The first one or the second one?
First one.
No.
No.
No. And this is a spelling confusion. Really. The first word is almost never used, so you would not make this. You really wouldn't make this mistake because it's a very rare word. Second word is cavalry. This is very common. An army on horses is a cavalry. That's it. Okay. And Calvary. Does anybody know what Calvary is? Does anyone have a clue? What this is? Extremely.
Sort of army.
No, that's the second one. That's.
Oh yeah.
And nowadays it's an army on horses, but actually they call in the American Army they call the tank army. The tank division is the cavalry. Instead of horses, they have tanks. Just so you know, but traditionally they ride horses. Calvary is a name of a specific place, an exact location. It's like saying Montreal. Well, kind of. More like saying, I don't know. More like saying, okay, what it is. Calvary is the name of the hill where Jesus was crucified. That's it. So it's extremely specific. All right, that's the name of the hill where Jesus was crucified. Now you know. Okay, Luo. Sell or sell?
Sell or sell. Charlotte spent the solitary hours watching the nightform panthers on the walls of her cell.
Indeed. Yes.
But one day she made contact through the pipes with the woman in the cell below her, and discovered that she had a book, Stendhal's Chartreuse de Baume.
Yeah, Luau, you really need help on your French. Chartreuse de Baume.
Chartreuse de Baume.
It's French. Don't worry about it. Okay, both of the blanks take the same word. Which word? 1, 2, or 3? What do you think?
I think the first one is the first blank with the second word.
Yeah.
And the second blank with first word.
They both will take the second word. She's in a cell.
Yeah, so I'm confused. I think you should take the second word, the both of them. But
Yeah.
I think maybe we should just use one, match one blank.
I see. It didn't understand the instructions.
Yeah.
No, they both take cell. They're in a cell. Okay, so the middle word cell refers to like prison cell. Okay, a closed, you can't get out, a closed, locked area is a cell. Okay. Whereas the third one, sell, you sell potatoes at the market. People buy potatoes, buy, sell. Very simple. What is the first one, Luel? Do you know?
Cell, yes, I've checked my dictionary. It means milliliter per second.
Okay. That's milliliter per second. Really? Okay, I have no idea about that.
My dictionary said an hour.
Wow. Yeah, I have no idea what that is, Luel, to tell you the truth. You may be right, but I don't know it. I just don't know that. For me, a cell is, for example, in animation, each little picture, right? As you're watching animation or cartoons, they're showing, I don't know, 600 cells per minute. I have no idea. Each picture is a cell. Okay, so it's one little piece of something, often used for films and in animation. Max, what did your definition say?
Very different. Some kind of relate to I don't know how to explain it, sorry.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, you often hear photocell. Okay. Islam, hello, how are you? Welcome to the class.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm going to come around to you so you get the idea, okay? So just watch. Well, actually, you're a little late, so actually I better give you a chance now so you can try it out. Islam, where are you from, first of all, if I might ask?
I'm from Egypt.
Okay, great. All right, welcome to the class. Okay, here's a confusing pair of words. Which pair of words would fit best in the blank? Go ahead and you can read the quote and try to figure it out here. We have climactic and climatic. Whoa. Oh my goodness.
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead and read the quote, Islam, if you'd like.
As a director might for practical purpose choose to classify organisms by size as a convention for selecting cages or by preference, so that these polar bears will not asphyxiate in an exhibit on tropical rainforests. What's this word?
Which word? Asphyxiate? I'm asphyxiating. If you asphyxiate, you die because you can't breathe. So if you asphyxiate, it's hard to say even for me. If you asphyxiate someone, you prevent them from breathing until you die. Most people in a fire asphyxiate rather than actually are burned to death. They actually die because they can't breathe. Okay, so which do you think, climactic or climatic, or by blank preferences? So polar bears asphyxiate in a rainforest?
The two words are related to weather.
Yes, exactly. So which word is related to weather? The first one or the second one? Take a guess.
I think the first one.
Nice guess, but not correct. Climate. Climatic. All right, climatic preferences. Has to do with climate, has to do with weather. You're totally correct. You see this IC ending on English words, it means it's an adjective automatically, right? This word is related to the word climax or climate. Climax, which could mean in a movie the climax is a dramatic ending or the high point. You could have a climax of a mountain, for example, or something. But anyway, so climactic refers to of the climax. Okay, so both an adjective.
Okay,
all right,
great.
Thank you, Aslam. Okay. Ooh, tough one. Max, it's back to you. Compulsion or compunction, Max?
Oakley, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, I
Gotta go.
speak, okay?
Okay. All right, Nader, over to you. She felt no guilt, no bleep about what she had done to Debaka. If she hadn't killed him, she knew he would have killed her in the next minute or two. She felt no compulsion about him. I don't think so. The second word, compunction, is quite often co-located with compunction, with no compunction, no hesitation. The second one basically means no hesitation. I have no compunction about quitting my job. Okay, I have absolutely no hesitation. I have no self-doubt, actually. It has to do with how you feel about it. You have no self-doubt, no hesitation, no regret. Yeah, thank you, Luo. Very good. No compunction. Often asked, yes, it has to do with the element of regret. You're absolutely correct. Right. No hesitation due to regret. So when you say you have no compunction, it means there's no hesitation. Both those things at the same time, which makes it a very special word. No regret and no hesitation. That's right. Very good. You have a compulsion to do something. Okay. Many women who are pregnant have a compulsion to eat strange food. Yeah, forced. They feel like they're forced. They have an overwhelming urge to eat strange foods, or at least that's what they say. All right. Some people talk about a strange compulsion when they go to a high place like a bridge or the top of a building. They may have a strange compulsion to jump off the building. They don't do it, but for a second you kind of feel like, what would it be like if I just jumped? Well, that strange feeling is a compulsion. Okay. Ooh, another good pair here. Ken, back to you.
Earthly or earthy. The fresh and crispness of the raw onion with the blank taste gave it a great relish to one who has been a long time on salt provisions. Earthly.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Earthly. Okay. Has to do with the earth, my earthly possessions, meaning the stuff I own when I'm alive. That's actually, I bequeath My will, when I die, I bequeath unto you all my earthly possessions. Okay, all my physical objects. Earthly things are physical, tangible, concrete objects,
Mhm.
as opposed to more spiritual, all right, or abstract things.
Mhm.
Earthy means of the earth, of the actual physical earth, meaning the ground, the dirt.
Mhm.
So onions have an earthy taste. You can almost taste the ground, the earth. Both of these are adjectives. We often talk about an earthy smell. I went into the basement under my house. There's an earthy smell. It smells like dirt. uh, we could talk. We
So
could. Yeah, go ahead.
onion smell like dirt? Does that mean?
Well, he's being poetic to a
Okay.
point because he's talking about. Okay, he's talking about eating salt provisions. Where would you eat salt provisions for a long, long time?
Salt provision. What is salt provision?
Okay. When in olden days, well, this is from a book written in 1840 called 2 Years Before the Mast. There's a clue, and it was written in 1840. Okay, when you were at sea a long time, you had to eat salt provisions. They couldn't just put a steak on board and put it in the refrigerator. Everything was dried and salted. So the reason he's saying this quote is because he's talking about eating an onion after being at sea for 3 months. So in that sense, it has an earthy taste. It tastes like something other than fish in the ocean and salt.
I
But
see.
he's actually making a comparison, well, a contrast between fishy, oceany, salty food and suddenly eating fresh, crisp, earthy food. So
I see.
that's what he's saying. You can use this adjective quite abstractly. I can use it about a person. He has a very earthy sense of humor, maybe. Okay, so it's very concrete. All right. He has a very concrete sense of humor, very kind of having to do with body functions, very, very physical. Okay, so we can use it in different ways. Oh, here's a weird one. Luau, Farrago or Fiasco?
Frago, I don't know Frago, but I know Fiasco. Fiasco means it means you've been defeated by another group of army. Seriously, is that right?
Well,
Fiasco.
It could mean that, but not necessarily. If I try to throw a party and nobody comes and the birthday cake sets the house on fire, that is a fiasco, a complete disaster, but not a disaster like a hurricane, a disaster as in a humanly planned thing. Okay. So yeah, if an army is totally, completely defeated, humiliatingly, yes, you would describe that as a fiasco, for sure. If you launch a product and you can't sell one of your product, okay, I'm going to sell onion ice cream, and nobody buys onion ice cream, it's a total failure. It's a fiasco. Okay, Farrago is different. That's an interesting word, very interesting. Farrago, on the other hand, is a confused mixture, a hodgepodge, a mishmash, a melange, a conglomeration, a very confused, a mashup. Oh, in modern day parlance, they would call this, modern day English, we have a new word which means Farrago. It's called a mashup, where you smash together things that are not normally together. So
yeah, mashup.
Okay. Yeah.
Sometimes I listen to the DJing works products. They will point some of their work and is mashed up.
Right.
Mixture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Precisely. All right. So,
Um,
what do you think?
on the way back, we passed a suburban garden, where the owners was picking modern shrub whose shades were Farrago of day glow reds and oranges. Uh, Humphrey stopped unsteadily, stared at the scene much as one might at a junk dealer gluing formica onto the Chippendale table, and screamed, vegetable rats and the hapless grocer. Yeah,
Okay.
Farrago.
Yeah, it is Farrago. This is actually quite funny, if you get it. All right. Okay. Beautiful. They seem out of place. The beautiful. Okay. Staring at a junk, as one might stare at a junk dealer gluing formica. That's very cheap stuff you put on surfaces onto a Chippendale table, which is ridiculously expensive. Vegetable rats. Okay. Well, anyway. Enough of that. I am. Thank you, everyone, for joining me, and we'll see you next time here at Verbling. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Goodbye.